to Illmind. So Ill, man, last week we had an opportunity to speak at the Coast to Coast convention here in Miami every year that I'm part of the project management team on that. And it was kind enough to sit down and do a last minute one-on-one with us. We talked to them everything about nerdy shit to a lot of nerdy shit. But Ill, just, you know, I know we've kind of had this conversation before, but just give everybody just a quick snapshot about like how you got into the actual music industry in general, or started production in general.
Okay, yeah. I'll give you a little cliff note version. First of all, how you guys doing? Good. I have sort of a rich history with SAE, but I don't know if I ever said this at SAE, like doing one of these, but I actually went to SAE. I signed up, I got the free laptop and the free the thing, and then I quit after a month. You know, I was like, let me just get this laptop real quick. I was like, nah, I couldn't do it. But shout out to SAE, man. Like, this is an amazing, like, obviously it's changing lives, and like, you know, events like this, like, are just literally life changing. So like, you know, it's just an amazing moment. So my start, my dad, I'm Filipino. My parents are immigrants from the Philippines. My father was a musician. He played guitar for a kind of like a wedding band, and they were actually called FAME, F-A-M-E, which stood for Filipino American Music Entertainment, right? Oh, yeah. So it was like, so they just like did you know, gigs and stuff and played weddings and like covered. They were like a cover band, and so as a kid I would like go with him. And I was kind of like his roadie, so I would like help him carry, you know, speakers and cables, and you know, I was like 7 years old, 9 years old, and I remember he would like pay me $20 to like do it or whatever. It was like just a fond memory. So I was just always like surrounded by music, and then yeah, when I like fell in love with, like, this is gonna sound corny, but when I fell in love with hip hop, I became curious. And I was like, man, like, how did they make this? I was like, who are producers? Like, who's doing the drums? Right. Like, why does it sound like this? And why do I love this shit? And then, so I just dug into the rabbit hole of music production, found out what it was, how to do it, and just like kind of figured it out from there, and just was curious enough to pursue it. And I kind of just never stopped, right? Like, started like posting my stuff on the internet, and then like got noticed by some people, and then started to meet more people in the industry. Yep. You know, artists, A&Rs, and you know, thankfully a lot of those people kept going and became, you know, executives. You know, once interns became, you know, head of, president of this label or manager of this huge artist. And so that was probably the, you know, the sort of like snowball for me, was like sticking with it and meeting the right people along the way, and like not overthinking on like trying to get to the big people yet. It was like, let me talk to the people that are right here, because I know that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years from now, if I keep going, I'll meet them over there as well, and at that point they're probably going to be somewhere bigger as well. And if we come up together, then, you know, we could make noise, you know, like together, instead of, you know, trying to just social climb or try to just like reach the biggest artist in the world. So yeah, that was my start. You know, and just like I said, it's just been snowballed ever since. It just never stopped.
So how many producers do we have in the room? All right, put your hands down. How many writers do we have in the room? Okay, about an equal amount. You know, one of the biggest things we talk about with these events, you know, with producers and writers, is the placement story, right? You know, I think a lot of people think that like getting the placement is going to be the start of something great. And you know, as we know, things have kind of changed over the last 10 years when it comes to music. What is your outlook? What was your outlook then on placements, and what is it now? So I know you operate a lot differently now.
Yeah. So placements are definitely like crucial. You know, like I think the main mission as a music producer specifically is to produce the best music possible that you love the most for the biggest artists, right? I don't think there's anyone in the world that is okay with, like, you know, I'm all right with just, you know, 50,000 follow or whatever, like, 10,000 units sold, like that's definitely amazing. But like, I feel as though like you should always strive for like maximum exposure to exploit whatever message you're trying to convey as an artist, right? You should never be okay with just being underground. Like, don't you want like millions and millions of people to relate to you, and you know what I mean? So I feel it's the same with production, where it's like, you want to strive for placements and produce really good records that people remember, people resonate with, and so that's just sort of one part of it. So yeah, definitely music or placements in music are super important, but what I've learned over the years is that it's not just about that, right?
Right.
And you also can't just rely on placements either. I don't know how much or how little you guys are knowledgeable about like the business side of how that works, but it's really tough, man. Like, you can have a big record on like a Drake album or whatever huge artist album, and like not get paid for like 3 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Big facts.
I won't say her name. I just revealed her gender, but there's an artist I worked with, and I had a placement with her. This is a big artist, and it was 4 years ago, and I literally just got my advance. You know what I mean? Literally just got it like earlier this year. So there's so many different reasons why that happens. So it's almost impossible to maintain a living with just relying on placements. So I think the key you guys want to remember is, how can I be of service to the world in addition to
Right.
having placements? How can I leverage my name and my notoriety and the people I know with getting big placements? How can I leverage that to also do X? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to figure out like your mission is, what your X is, and build on top of that as well.
Right.
And, as long as like you're feeling good about it and it's fun and it's helping people and you're not hurting anyone, you're not screwing people over, and it's something joyful, then I think it's worth pursuing. So.
Yeah, gems. Gems. So to segue off of that, if you guys don't already know, Illmind has been, a leader in the field for a very long time. He's pretty much a visionary, and he sees a lot of things happen before they get popular, And one of the things that he was really instrumental in was kind of starting the producer sound pack or drum packs or whatever the case may be. Like, you can't tell me that a Blap Kit wasn't going to be on somebody's album at the beginning of those processes. The amazing thing about it is it's been able to give you, an additional income stream, obviously, help you get on other projects and placements. What was the mentality about going into that? Like, we never really had that conversation. Like, when you first started out the Blap Kit thought process, what did you want to accomplish from them?
So I put out a drum kit in 2011 called Blap Kit Volume 1. Raise your hand if you know about it.
I have it. All the
Okay.
All the kits? That's what's up.
Thank you. And it's okay if you download from Reddit, like it's all good. As long as
You just gave him the cheat code right there. Oh, man.
As long as you got it and you fuck with it, like it's cool. You know what I mean? Tag me. You know what I mean?
But you got to buy it, so, he's got a daughter. So you got a daughter now. No playing around, all right? Yeah.
So my mentality going into it was, I don't know if some of you guys, older guys, might remember, but back in 2011, like drum kits were not.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted drums, it was either from like a piece of hardware, like a drum machine, or like a CD,
sample,
a CD from like a Guitar Center with like drum breaks on it, or like the deep dark web. Like there were like bootleg kits. Like you could find like a bootleg Dr. Dre kit,
Napster,
a boot Napster, whatever. You know what I mean? So it like literally wasn't a thing. So one day in 2011. I just told myself, I was like, I had like a bit of like an underground following by then. Like I worked with like Little Brother and like, Boot Camp Click and like Buckshot and like Mobb Deep and G-Unit and 50 Cent. So I was like doing a lot of underground shit. And I was like, I wonder if there are people out there that want like Illmind drums. Like, I don't know if that's a thing, but what if I like took my drum sounds, at the time I had an ASR 10 keyboard. It's the same keyboard that like Kanye came up on, and Pharrell and Timbaland, like all the GOATs, they used to use this keyboard. So I bought one because I found out they did. So I was like, let me take all these drums that I made and put them in like a zip folder. And I told myself, like, how much would I pay for this?
Right.
It's like an affordable thing that will give me the most value. And I said, fuck that. I'm gonna put 150 sounds in this shit, or it was like 120 for $20, right? Like $20. Fuck it, just give it all, whatever. So I didn't know how to like sell it. So at the time, I had like a blog site, and I remember figuring out how to like create like a PayPal like purchase button, like a buy now button on PayPal. And if you somehow dig and find the site, it's so janky. Like you'll see the artwork, and then like the little button is like not even centered. It's like to the left. It's like here to purchase. And then so I was like, yeah, man, like probably like 2 or 3 people are gonna cop this shit.
Right.
And then I woke up the next morning and I saw my PayPal and I had like two bands in it. And I was like, damn, 100 people bought this shit. It's crazy. So then I was like, okay, how am I going to send this shit to them? So I was literally, it's all
Figure it out afterwards, right?
figuring this shit out.
That's a good point.
I was like, damn, I got this bread. Like, all right, now I got to deliver the product. So I remember going to every email, like an email for every purchase, and I was literally there typing like, yo, what's good, bro? Appreciate it. Here's the link, and it was like a Z share link or some shit.
Oh boy, Z-Share.
Or like Mega Upload, one of them. Mega Upload.
Wow. Taking it back.
So I did it to all like 200 people or whatever, 100 people, and that was it. And then like every like hour, I would just keep getting sales, ching ching ching. I'm like, damn, it's crazy. So then I figured out how to like build a website. I used Shopify, so I moved everything to Shopify, and then I released Volume 2 shortly after, and it went crazy. And then from there, I figured, yeah, there's like a demand for this. And then even like some of my producer peers at the time were hitting me up and like,
How did you do this? Yeah.
Let's go with the kits. Like, you really making, bread? Like, is it really cool? And I'm like, yo, dog, like, yeah, it's crazy. So, like,
I can attest. I saw the financials on like the 3rd or 4th kit, and I was like, okay, gotta start being a producer now.
That was when it was really, really, really good. So, Jake One hit me, and he's like, yo, what's like, how do you do this, whatever. I was like, yo, just, go to Shopify, blah, blah, blah. And then he ended up, releasing Snare Jordan.
Snare Jordan kids.
So I helped Jake One, Cardiac when he was still doing it, Symbolic One, and then I guess I'll say, but like when Splice hit me early on, when they first were a company or whatever, and they asked me to be a part of it. I don't remember why I said no. I think it might have been because I was making too much money on my own.
You probably want to split.
Yeah, what they were offering me, I'm like, bro, I make that in a day. What do you?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but Splice, they're very powerful. And that was the start. It's just a crazy idea, but what I think the key to it was timing, but then also figuring out a problem that hasn't been solved yet. Yeah, like there's a gap in the industry, and it could really help a lot of people. What can I do to solve that issue? And try to help. So that was the key. I think because it came at a time where like we all needed it. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because that's not the only platform you've been able to create and get attention for. The whole thing you did with the Squadron of King, right? All that, and in terms of exactly, the Warrior Call. Also having, you were doing some events at the time, you're doing some conferences. What is it about the new creator that keeps you excited, that keeps you wanting you to like present these opportunities out there?
What is it about the what?
Like the new creative, like what is it about the new creative that keeps you like, wanting to continue to help them out?
I think that we have this is like unprecedented times in modern history in terms of like having an idea and then like literally being able to execute it. Like, think about as early as 15 years, 20, 30 years ago, if you had an idea, like you really had to spend a lot of money and like call a lot of people and like really go above and beyond to try to execute. Now you can literally execute an idea for the most part like at the crib. You know what I mean? In front of the computer. Like You can use AI. You can leverage AI to write copy for you. You can leverage AI to do this. You can, go to Fiverr and get someone who's really good at like building a website to build a website. You can do artwork doing this. So like as long as you're determined enough to see through to the end your idea, you can literally accomplish anything.
Yeah.
And when I identify like a gap somewhere, and I feel like I can bring value to it, and I feel like people can benefit from it,
Yeah.
and it's not hurting anyone, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why a lot of times, it seems like I'm sort of ahead of the curve a lot when it comes to tech and industry and trends and just like the sound and just
Yeah.
everything. It's because I don't know. I like to look forward and
Yeah.
see where it goes, and then like try to get there before everyone else.
Yeah, and the good part about it too is everything you've been able to do has been high quality. There's never been like a lull in like the quality perspective of what you do, nor is like you always kind of seem like you're always working, but I know how you operate as well on the backside of it. So you pretty much have this platform that you could showcase in so many different ways, but always be able to give you like something like perfect almost. You know what I'm saying? So how do you you got this new AI chatbot we talked about the other day. I think that's pretty cool. I was telling you guys before you got up here. Explain how that whole thing came about, building this chatbot about Illmind and all that.
Yeah. So how many of you are familiar with ChatGPT? Probably among you, right? So when I caught wind of it, I was obviously blown away like the rest of you guys. So one day I was, I don't know, it was random, like kind of like the drum kit thing. I randomly woke up and I was like, what if I created an Illmind chatbot? It's like I've spent all these years doing Q&As, like doing these tours, helping producers, helping artists, and like throughout the course of those years, I'm gathering so much information about everyone.
Yeah.
Not personal information, obviously, but like information like what are like the top 5 questions that an upcoming music producer has? What are like the top 5 like problems that a music producer faces? I'm talking about like thousands and thousands and thousands of conversations, whether it's in person or through email or through my podcast or whatever. And so I'm like, if I create a chatbot that's trained to be just like me and have my ideas and sort of function with accuracy, how I would think, that can help someone. Because instead of emailing me and then I get back to you like a month later, you know what I mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. And also on top of that, it's impossible for me to try to mentor or try to help everyone, let alone listen to everyone's music. It's actually physically impossible. Then I was like, this could be helpful. I think this could be cool. So I found this guy who started a company named Delphi, and he literally specializes in creating like specialized chatbots. So we trained our chatbot based on every interview that I did in my whole life that's on the internet, every podcast, every interview on YouTube, transcribed to data points for the bot, all the books that I've read in real life, and then any other kind of miscellaneous data that I felt like the bot should have. And then we trained it, and then it's just there. So if you guys,
And you tested it too, right?
Yeah, we tested it. We basically took the chatbot. So my boy, was it you, Dreidel? I think no, it wasn't. But I remember having a conversation with you about the bot.
Yeah.
No, it might have been someone else. But Dreidel's been in my studio a gang of times, so I don't remember the conversation. But so I was there with someone, and they were helping me test it, and he was testing my chatbot, and he would ask the chatbot a question, and then he would ask me the same question, and then I would answer. And it was literally every time the answer came out, it was almost exactly the same. The answers. It was like a 90% accurate. So we launched the chatbot, and yeah, I mean, we've had almost, how many are we at now? Probably 250,000 prompts from probably 50,000 people across the world that are using it. And you can use it for free. So if you want to check it out, you don't have to do it now, but I made a website. It's called AskIllmind.com. Yep, there it is. AskIllmind.com. You can just scroll down and you literally just talk to me. Yeah. You just say whatever.
Chat to the digital Illmind.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of feedback. Like people are saying that it's helping them like create like a weekly schedule and helping them like navigate like the production world.
Yeah.
Like just little things that they might not have known about.
Right.
It's literally answering like I would. So.
That's innovative, man. Give it up for Illmind.
By the way, I earlier in the year, and then Facebook launched there. You know what I mean? So
Facebook.
Facebook launched there. So.
Yeah. Shot. It's always crazy because you come along with a great idea, and there's always somebody kind of watching in the background, trying to figure out how to either make it better or do it themselves. And even with events, like these, there's so many people that try to. They see something, they just think it's a money grab, and they'll try to do something outside of pocket. And the people that get involved with them realize that there's no genuine or authentic, vibes to it. And that's the one thing I appreciate about you, because you've always been, again, somebody who really used to, like all the like people you collaborated with, all the people just in general that you've worked with, like you just always seem to have like this great rapport with people. We talk about relationships all the time, obviously. The one thing you'll hear this whole weekend is all about, how important relationships are in whatever facet. What are some of the relationships that you have or have had that have kind of helped you move your career along?
Relationships.
Could be
this
anybody.
guy right here, Hatch. Come on, clap it up for Hatch.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Man, we met long.
Yeah, we've been rocking for a minute.
Yeah, bro.
Just come on the road to Philly with us,
Yeah.
eating cheesesteaks and shit, yeah.
Going to Pat's.
Pat's, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Very drunk nights. That's all in the story.
Very so let me see. Yeah, so relationships. So, yeah, I mean, a lot, like my current manager, Jonathan Master, I met him in 2004 at like a random show in New York. Like those were the years where I was just like young and going out and just whatever, you know what I mean? And so I met him at like one of the hip hop shows back then. And at the time he was an intern for SRC Records.
Oh yeah, Steve Rifkin.
Yeah, with Rifkin. And yeah, we just kept in touch. He was like one of the guys I kept in touch with. And he started officially managing me in 2013. That was kind of right when my run started. And so now he's vice president of A&R at RCA, right, with Mark Pitts. So he, Millie, all the shit that's lit right now is him and Mark. You know what I mean? And Skane. So that's a super layup now. Like anytime someone huge is working over there, like of course he's gonna let me know and like give me special treatment because he manages me, but also like, they all want me involved too, but like I sort of get that, but that took, how many years is that? That's like a 15-year thing. It took me 15 years to get that. You know what I mean? So that I would say that, man, like that's kind of the important thing is, and one of my interns yesterday brought this up, but I think this goes to the relationship conversation. It's like, what was the story? So there was this guy, I forget which artist, it's like a very famous artist, visual artist, and he was at like a restaurant.
Picasso.
What was it? Picasso.
Yeah.
It's the napkin.
Oh yeah, you painted on the
story.
napkin?
Yeah, I'll just tell it since you guys ruined it for me. So basically Picasso was like at some place and he drew like the little doodle on a napkin, right? And then he like threw it in the trash and then he walked away. And then some woman saw him do that. So she reached into the trash, picked it up, right? Went to go get Picasso, tapped him and said, "Hey, so I saw you threw this out in the trash, and I just want to ask you, like, is it okay if I keep it?" And he was like, "No, you can't." And she was like, she's confused. She was like, "Why not? Like, you threw it in the garbage. Like, it took you like 2 minutes to make, and you don't even want it." And then he goes, "No, it didn't take me 2 minutes. It took me, how many years was it? 50 years?
Yeah.
40, I think it was 40. He said, "No, it took me 40 years to make that." So think about that.
Yeah.
You know, it took him 40 years to make that doodle. It's true. You know? So we can all apply that to our careers as well. Like when someone asks me like for whatever it is, you know, whether it's like a beat or a time or whatever, and I say, oh, why I charge so much? Yo, yeah, like it took me 20 years, you know, to do whatever it is I'm helping you with. You know what I mean? And I'm not even like that guy. Like I like to give, you know what I mean? I'm a giver, pause. So.
Yeah. New York, that's that New York shit. When I tell you we on panels for like 2 hours and you don't hear the word like 50 times with this guy, or him and Amadeus. Him, Amadeus, and Cameron, they kill this shit.
The day that we have a conversation and you don't hear me say pause once is the day you know I'm a clone.
That's when the chat Illmind came to life or some shit. I think that's, it's super important too because, relationships come in different sizes, shapes, whatever the case may be. They come for different reasons, like there's relationships that I've had for, 10, 15, 20 years that I've never really asked anybody for anything from. Sometimes it's just a conversation might have somebody that leads to something bigger and better. And I think we need to start valuing or normalizing, community in general. I think like sometimes we're so worried about us, like me, because we don't think by working with somebody else we can't get to a higher plateau. You know what I'm saying? It's really about these days more than ever, like you were saying with the world the way it is, like it's about that unity. It's about that strength in numbers that I think we've all took for granted for so many years.
Exactly. And to add to that too, like, I think the issue with a lot of us, especially in the music industry, is a lot of us are reluctant to help people because we feel like we need to get something back, right? It's like, well, if I give you this little layup or this little alley-oop, like I either need like a percentage or like just I need more clarity on how I'm gonna get my karma back, right? It's like we want like immediate gratification of like karma, like positive karma, like if I do you this favor, like what am I gonna get out of it, right? And in some cases, like you do need that type of structure, especially if it's like a business transaction. Like if you make a play and you want to give someone a percentage, that's fine, right? Like you're specifically figuring it out on the spot. But for me, I'm like a really firm believer in, and actually not a believer, this is a scientific fact actually, that what you pay attention to, you manifest. Right? It's actually like a physical law on like a molecular quantum physics level. And so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here comes the nerdy shit.
I won't get super.
I'm just kidding.
But basically, what you pay attention to becomes real. Even down to looking at it. Mm-hmm. Even down to looking at it, and then all the way down, the deepest level is thinking about it. Right? Yeah. That's actually the most powerful. So, if you're, this is gonna sound weird, but if you're thoughtful and mindful about what you think about, and you're mindful about who you talk about, and you're mindful about who you help and how you help them and how often you help them, like you're 100% going to manifest whatever you're trying to create, right? Yeah. So if you keep helping people, like yes, you're just like you're racking up a to-do list for God, you know what I mean? That's all you're doing.
It's true.
Absolutely.
You're just making a to-do list for him. Like, all right, cool, you did that. All right, I'm you know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. Next year, I'm gonna do this with him.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? So, just rack it up. You know what I mean? Just like do cool shit for people, and like it'll come back.
Yeah. I wanted to ask. Funny you said that because I want to talk to you about the manifesting in general because when you were younger and you were kind of getting into the mix with all this stuff, like, was there that thought process of manifesting, or were you just kind of trying to figure it out as you were going? At what point did you realize, like, I'm in a set space and I can think like this now?
2007, The Secret DVD. Secret DVD.
Yeah.
The Secret DVD. I was like, yo, what is this shit? And then the bro was like in the living room, like, imagining an Escalade, like, you remember, like, in the living room, he's like, and then it like appears. Just something about it, like that concept really, it touched me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pause. Yeah. We're in Miami. They don't really know much about that. No, they got to be quick. If they're not quick, then you get in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Your own version of it, at least. Like, I don't know, but so Yeah, so I resonated with that.
Okay.
And so I now looking back at it, like I do, and no shots to the secret producers, but I do think it's like a lot of fluff. But it's a good starting point to at least understand
Right.
the concept. But once you really dig deep into like, you know, the pineal gland and like calcification and manifestation and like, you know, vibration, how everything vibrates and how you can align with different frequencies. Yeah, and you really like study the science behind why this stuff is real, then you can just leverage that to just like really, really, really manifest what you want. I'm gonna give you guys a weird, don't think I'm weird, but a weird explanation of why manifestation is real. And so there's this guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza who I'm like obsessed with, and his concepts are like he has this sort of like scientific explanation through actual trials of the mind connection with your organs, with your physical body, right? And so basically, every organ and every cell and every organ in your body is connected to your brain, right? There's also your brain here, but it's connected to your mind. And so your mind, your subconscious mind, is controlling the functions of your physical body, right? And so basically, think about this, right? Think about this. When you're having sex, right? I'll talk to men only because I'm not a woman, so I don't know the complexities of sexual experience with women. But with men, with us, like when we get whatever, you know what I mean? Like I don't
Excited.
I'm trying to get excited. It's here.
Yeah.
So we see, so we
It's
feel.
all here, right? Like if we don't have to physically do anything, but if we're thinking about it or if we see something, the blood will start to flow down there, right? That's crazy when you think about it. That's fucking insane for that to happen. So if we can control our with our mind, yes, we can control everything else with our mind as well. Of course we can. So
That was an on-call. Sorry, swipe that from the record. That does not work in this conversation.
by the way, any sponsors here? You know, sponsors.
Yeah, videos. Let's cut that out. No, just kidding.
No, bro, I like it.
But what? Basically, the point.
We started a monster. We started a monster. Anyway, let's not think with our, let's go ahead.
Floridians using pause for the first time is crazy. So basically, the only reason why I bring that up is because I want to drive home the point of the science behind how powerful the mind is. And so when you use your mind, right, and you have an idea and you want to manifest it in the physical world, it starts as an emotion, right? So like you feel something and then you want to take action, right? So when you feel something, you take action. You feel, you take action. And if you take action enough, right, it becomes, what does it become? It becomes a habit, right? So now all of a sudden it's a habit. Like think about all the habits that you guys all have, that we all have, right? It's just, some of it's kind of automated, right? Because our brains are sort of just programmed, our subconscious programmed to just execute those habits, right? And then if you execute those habits long enough, they become a personality trait, right? Now it's part of who you are, right? And so the whole idea I'm trying to get to is everything starts in the mind, right? Like, and I don't think we talk about this stuff enough in the music industry.
Yeah.
I think we're so like strategy approached
Versus tactical.
When there is no strategy. Strategy is flow and energy. It's like how can you take like music, the art of making music and the art of listening to music is such a spiritual experience that there's no human business strategy that you can apply to this like sacred product. Like we're creating sacred energy. And so the way to connect with that, you have to also be on the spiritual realm as well. And if you're not, you're just going to be, you can watch all the YouTube tutorials you want.
Right.
And you wonder why you're not at the level you want. It's because you're on the wrong field. You're
Right.
playing the wrong game. You're playing checkers on a chessboard. You know what I mean? So.
And actually, the flip side of that is also the opposite way of thinking, right? Like a lot of times we might focus on what problems we have or things we can't control or, you know, the things that maybe are obstacles but don't really apply to what, you know, we have to do at the time. So the same thing, like, you know, I know a lot of people, like we're very introverted as creatives sometimes. And unless we get around other people that are kind of like-minded, we're really kind of almost in our own space. And even during the pandemic, you know, I think a lot of people put more of a focus on, you know, the mental side of things just because we got shut down completely from our everyday. So the positive things that you wanted to do, some cases you couldn't always do that. So when you have that, you know, that mindset of just every day waking up, head down, blinders on, just do great things and great things will happen. You know, it's scientific fact, but it's also very much karma. Like being a good person brings back good results. And if it doesn't, it just means that it just wasn't meant to happen at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like we all help each other and help other people. I posted something the other day about, there's that meme that goes around and says, "I'm sorry, sir, can't help you today for something that I need to get paid for," something to that effect. And I posted it and all of a sudden there was like a freaking debate on my page. People trying to like understand what that meant. It was basically like, you know, like I have my own agenda as well. I'm willing to help you if you're willing to help yourself or meet me in a certain space, but we've been shooting in the gym for 30 years. Our relationships that we spent money on, travel, dinners, studio, just because I know you doesn't mean I'm going to share this relationship with you. But if we have a great rapport and I see you in either invest in yourself or really go hard and stay consistent, pause.
No, that was good.
No, the go hard part might be, you know, I don't know.
That was borderline.
That was borderline. Harlem would have definitely been paused. We did that shit in Harlem. But in all reality, like, it's about your surroundings as well, right? They say if you surround yourself with people that want to win, you know, you're going to probably win at some point. But the winning is also understanding what defines winning to you, what defines happiness, what defines success to you. Like, if you don't know those things when you start your journey, you're basically wasting gas. Right? And I'm not saying you're going to know everything and know everywhere you're going to be, but there's got to be like checkpoints. There's a gas station over here. Let me just make it there. You know, I'm good. And when I get there, I can do this. And oh, wait, I'm going to drive another 20 miles and do this. But when I get there, something's going to give me the fuel to get even better at what I do. And I'm a strong believer in like just being consistent and being there and showing up sometimes just guarantees you a win because other people aren't willing to do that. How many sacrifices have you made to get here today? Right? How many, you know, my girl Jakaya yesterday, my man Physics, both of their Airbnbs got flooded out. They didn't even get a refund until maybe today or tomorrow. Like you go through adversities every day, but the day that it stops you, the day that it knocks you on your back and you don't get up is the day you were meant to win. So that moment you get up and get back on your feet, it gives you one more chance, one more lottery ticket. This is actually a great conversation too because he brought Ryan Leslie to one of our song camps in New York off the rip. Like he just showed up. So he's in the back of the class. We're having a similar conversation. And Ryan he was like hiding behind the door on a table. And he sat up. He's like, "You mind if I say something?" Everybody turned around. We're like, "Fucking Ryan Leslie's in the room? What are you talking about?" So he said something very, very like unique at the time, I think, because we don't really talk about this as well, is like if you could find 1,000 people that can help you make the median income of America, which was like 43,000 at the time, or whatever the case may be, you can live a specific lifestyle, right? So if you sell merch, if you have a service to provide, if you're a videographer, if you're somebody who has some sort of real skill set to help provide other people with, you know, you can win for that reason alone. But what he was trying to say is like, you don't have to have like $1 million to do this. You just got to be,
like 1 million followers.
Right, you got to be comfortable enough to live your daily life, right? Be frugal when you need to. Don't go out every weekend, you know what I'm saying? Balance it out, obviously. But find a way to create income for you to do the thing you love to do every fucking day. You feel me? Like even if you're a videographer, but you're also a chef, which my man is a DJ as well, Mr. Riggs over here. Y'all get up for Riggs, all the content. But the reality is like, sometimes, and I don't know if you go through this too, it might be a good conversation, but how do you balance all this stuff going on? Like what, I use like an urgency versus importance kind of scale. Like how do you weigh, your priorities?
So I sort of approach everything kind of like flow.
Okay.
So I'm like a real, one thing that really, really changed my life, especially like in recent times, is like I've been kind of like kind of low key following like Taoism and just the flow, the art of like flow and water, and excuse me. And so one thing that really, really I think is important to remember when it comes to just like time and time management and all this stuff. One of the biggest issues that we all face, especially like creative people, is we are either stuck in the past or we're trying to predict the future. And we're always constantly trying to do that, right? And so there was this scientific study that went out, and it said that the past is on average about 70% inaccurate.
Oh yeah.
So if you were to ask me and say, yo, Ill, like, what did you do last Friday, right, last week? I could tell you, I remember some things, but like I'm leaving out a large percentage of it, and it's probably 70% accurate.
Right.
Like I'll tell you, like, I had scrambled eggs, but it was really, over easy, you know what I mean? Like, so it's inaccurate. So the sad part is that a lot of us are stuck in the past because we're thinking about what we did. We're feeling,
What we didn't do.
remorse or regret. And there's a high probability that you're probably wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably not accurate, like what you're thinking. You're mad at the wrong thing, probably. There's a 70% chance that you're angry at the wrong person for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? Or whatever you're holding. So if we constantly in the past, which is 70% inaccurate, and we're constantly trying to predict the future, which is we all know is impossible.
Right.
Right? Then what are we left with that's really real?
The present.
The presence.
The present is the magical manifestation plane. And so if you can master the art of letting go of the future and completely letting go of the past and starting fresh every day and being in flow, you can create your future in the present.
Yeah. All right, so one of the reasons why we're here, we just started this recently because I feel like it's super important, and it's said all the time on social media.
Real quick question. What's your sign?
What's your sign?
I'm Virgo.
Oh, he had to put that in there.
Talk about this, man.
What are those Vibras? What are they called? Anyway,
Any Virgos in here?
Scorpion game.
My moon? Oh, what is my moon?
Let's turn it to a whole different thing. I'm a Sagittarius on the dot, on the day, November 22nd.
Sag?
Yeah, I'm Sag.
Gemini's in here. Done.
There's no Gemini.
I'm at the end.
You're a cusp?
Yeah, me too. I got some Scorp tendencies, but I'm a Sag.
Gemini's crazy. Gemini's like, fuck that event.
Not that one. He likes these.
I'm like the end of Taurus, so it's like I'm literally three people. I can't.
Well, you're here.
So, like I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted by Scorpios and Geminis. No, just kidding.
You're here. Gemini's like, I don't need help.
I don't know. I'm good, bruh. What are you, dumb? No, just kidding. So, again, the reason why we're here, sometimes we forget our heroes until they're gone, and we sometimes don't appreciate them while they're here. Not that I think he's going to go anywhere anytime soon, because he's young and he's svelte. Pause. Yeah, that was hey yo, I got you. That was hey yo.
That one was great.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm young and svelte as well. I mean, if I could say it about myself. Anyway.
I feel violated.
Word. So we gave away this award. It's called the FLWRS Award. Like Bree gave me one earlier. I appreciate you. But this is something that we do for the creative community. You know, I feel like sometimes these things are appreciative than maybe a Grammy or something because it comes from your peers. People appreciate you. So we got the Creative Space FLWRS Award for Illmind as the Blap Master. Blap Master. So we gave Ill an award, I think, years ago. We did a sit down in New York at one of the beat camps. But this one is coming from a new place called Creative Space. It's a new brand. Things are different nowadays. Gang, gang. But yeah, man, you deserve this, man. You do so much for the community. You're a genuine dude, and we appreciate you, man. So, quick flick right here with this for the gram, my brother. You already know. Let's do a quick little flick over here. Yeah, get over here, sis.